All right. So, we're going to take a deep dive today into this whole blockchain startup thing.
Okay.
And specifically something that's kind of been bugging me, right? Like,
Yeah,
why do so many blockchain startups fail? It's a lot, right?
it
We're
is.
talking a crazy 95% failure rate, which is
Yeah.
even higher than the usual,
Yeah.
startup graveyard,
Yeah.
right? Like 90% is usually what you see. So
Yeah.
what's the deal with that? What's going on here?
Well, it's definitely an interesting question. And
Yeah.
I think there are some factors at play that
Let's
are
chat.
unique to the blockchain space
Okay.
that go beyond the usual funding woes or market volatility or things like that.
Right. Yeah. It can't just be like, ooh, startups are hard. It's like, got to be
Hey.
something else going on.
Yeah, there's something more to it.
Yeah. So, like, okay, one thing, right? This whole blockchain equals crypto thing
Yes,
is that
that's a big one.
it feels like a lot of people just kind of, lump them together. But are we kind of doing like a disservice to legitimate blockchain innovation by making that assumption?
I think, yeah, definitely. That misconception's a really big deal.
So, where does that come from? Like, why do people do that?
I think, if you think back to the early days of blockchain, it was practically synonymous with Bitcoin.
Right.
The media often use the terms interchangeably.
Yeah.
And that association just kind of stuck in the public consciousness.
Right.
And even today, whenever there's a scandal or a price crash in the crypto world,
Right.
it kind of casts a shadow over the entire blockchain space.
Right. Even if it has nothing to do with it, really. It's
Exactly.
literally
Guilt by association.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. But how does that actually impact like startups that are actually trying to do good work with blockchain?
It creates a huge hurdle, especially when it comes to investors.
Really?
A lot of investors are still wary of anything related to crypto.
Mm-hmm.
And that skepticism, unfortunately,
Yeah.
often spills over to blockchain ventures, even those that have absolutely nothing to do with cryptocurrency.
Yeah. There's actually a good example of that in the source material, right?
Yeah.
Inigio, this company that's creating digital original documents using blockchain, right? Super interesting idea. But they're struggling because investors are just like, I don't know about that.
Yeah. It's a classic example
Yeah.
of how that misconception can really stifle innovation.
Mm.
Startups like that end up spending so much time and resources trying to educate investors
Right.
and distance themselves from the volatility of the crypto market.
Yeah, like, no, we're different.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's just a huge distraction that can really make or break a company, especially in those critical early stages.
Right, because they're trying to get off the ground. They don't need that extra burden.
Exactly.
Okay, so that makes sense from an investor standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
But what about public perception in general?
Yeah, that's another big piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because if people don't get it, then they might not trust it, right?
Exactly.
Or like want to adopt these solutions.
Yeah, we saw that with the Australian Securities Exchange.
What happened there?
They actually canceled their blockchain-based system.
Why?
Because of, and I quote here, solution uncertainty.
Oh, wow.
So it really highlights how that lack of understanding can have real-world consequences.
Yeah.
It hinders the adoption of potentially game-changing technology.
Right, just because people don't get it.
Right.
It's like we need a whole campaign to like re-educate everyone
Yeah.
about what blockchain is. Right?
Yeah. It's a big education gap.
But even then, there's another issue the source brought up.
Yep.
This idea of misusing the technology.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like people just slap blockchain on everything.
It's become a buzzword.
Yeah,
Definitely.
right. But without actually thinking it through, like, does it actually make sense to use blockchain here?
Right. We see that all the time. Startups try to shoehorn blockchain into solutions where it just doesn't really belong or doesn't really add much value.
Right. It's like, I don't know, using a chainsaw to cut butter.
Yeah, exactly. It's overkill.
You could, but why?
Right. There are better tools for the job.
Yeah. So how do we, I don't know, separate the good from the bad?
Right.
How do we identify projects that are actually using blockchain the right way?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Like, is there a way to tell?
I think we have to look beyond the buzzwords
Okay.
and really examine that core value proposition.
Mm-hmm.
Does blockchain actually solve a problem or create efficiency that just wouldn't be possible otherwise?
Right. Has to be doing something special.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And a really good example of, I think, what not to do is that Trade Lens project by Maersk and IBM.
Oh, yeah. That was a big one, right?
Huge players.
Yeah. So what went wrong there?
They were trying to revolutionize global shipping with blockchain.
Right. Huge idea.
Yeah, they had the ambition.
Yeah.
They had the resource.
Mm-hmm.
but the execution just didn't quite work out.
Interesting. So was it a tech issue or like a planning issue?
It was kind of a combination of factors,
Yeah.
actually. I mean, if the system was complex, there were interoperability challenges,
Yeah.
and they just couldn't get widespread adoption from all the different players in the industry.
So they had the pieces, but they couldn't put it all together.
Right. It was a classic case of maybe overambition,
Yeah.
trying to do too much at once.
Okay, so even with a good plan and using blockchain for the right reasons,
Mm-hmm.
there's still this education gap.
Yeah.
Like, I gotta be honest, sometimes I get lost in the jargon.
Oh, absolutely. It can be a lot.
Right, like what are they talking about?
The terminology can be very dense.
Yeah,
The technology itself is still relatively new.
okay.
So there's a steep learning curve there,
Yeah.
for sure.
So is this just a problem for the public? Or is this like an everyone problem?
It affects everyone.
Okay.
Investors, entrepreneurs, even developers sometimes struggle to keep up with all the new developments in terminology.
So how do we fix that? Like, how do we get everyone on the same page?
I think it boils down to accessibility.
Okay.
We need to break down these complex concepts into bite-sized pieces
Mm-hmm.
and present them in a way that resonates with a wider audience.
Okay, so like meet people where they're at.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
We need to make it clear and
Yeah.
engaging.
So it's not just about education, it's about how you do the education.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting.
Communication is key.
Communication. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
So it's about making it, not so intimidating.
Right. It shouldn't feel like you need a secret decoder ring to understand blockchain.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
So how do we do that?
I think storytelling can play a big role.
Okay.
We need to move beyond the jargon
Mm-hmm.
and really highlight the real-world applications of blockchain
Mm-hmm.
in a way that captures people's imaginations and makes them want to learn more.
Right. So it's not just the what, it's the why. Like, why should I care about this?
Exactly.
Okay, so show people how it can actually improve their lives.
Right. How it can solve real problems.
Right, and like make things better. Right.
Yeah, make the world a better place.
More fair.
Yeah, more transparent,
Mm-hmm.
more efficient.
Yeah, okay. I like that.
So it's about making it relatable,
Yeah.
relevant,
Yeah.
accessible.
To everyone, not just the techie people.
Exactly. It's for everyone.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
So, okay, we've tackled that misconception. We've tackled misusing it.
Yeah.
We've tackled the education problem.
Right.
Now what? What else is there?
Well, there's also the challenge of promoting these projects.
Oh, right, because even if you have a great idea, you got to get people to know about it.
Exactly.
And it's not easy.
It's incredibly difficult, especially in the digital world.
Right, it's so crowded.
It's so crowded.
Yeah.
So noisy.
How do you even get noticed? And it's not like blockchain is mainstream yet, right? So you're already starting with a niche audience.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
you're trying to reach a specific group of people in an already crowded space.
That'd be tough, right?
That's incredibly challenging.
Especially for these developers who are like, amazing at building things, but
Yeah.
maybe not so great at like marketing.
Yeah, that's a common problem.
Yeah.
The source actually mentions a really interesting case, Justin Hunter, the developer behind Graphite,
Okay.
which is a decentralized alternative to Google Docs, a really cool project.
That's cool.
Yeah, but he admitted that he was so focused on developing the technology that he didn't prioritize promoting it within the blockchain community.
So he built this great thing, but nobody knew about it.
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he kind of learned the hard way.
So what did he do?
Well, he realized that traditional marketing wasn't going to cut it.
Okay.
He had to engage with specific online communities,
Mm-hmm.
leverage niche social networks.
Right, like the blockchain specific ones.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And create content that really resonated with blockchain enthusiasts.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's about finding your tribe and speaking their language.
So you really got to know your audience.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and like tailor your message to them.
Exactly.
So it's not just about like blasting it out to everyone. It's
Mhm.
about being strategic.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting.
It's about targeted marketing.
Makes sense, but I imagine that's a lot of extra work for developers,
It is.
right? Like they already have so much on their plate
Exactly.
building the tech,
Yeah. Right.
And then they got to do all this marketing stuff too.
It can be a lot to juggle.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, it's a real challenge for a lot of developers.
Especially, like you said, they're not necessarily marketers, right?
They might not have that expertise.
Yeah.
And that's where collaboration becomes really important.
Like get someone to help you.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Bring in someone who understands the marketing side of things.
Right, like a team effort.
Exactly. It takes a village
Yeah.
to build a successful blockchain project.
Okay, so we've got the blockchain equals crypto myth. We've got the misuse of the technology.
Mhm.
We've got the education gap. We've got the marketing challenge.
Right.
What else is there? Like, what are we missing?
Well, you touched on it earlier,
Okay.
this idea of speed.
Yeah, things move fast in the blockchain world.
Incredibly fast.
Okay, so how do you balance that need for speed with, like, the need to build something good?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question.
Right. Like, it's a tough balance, I imagine.
It is a tough balance.
You don't want to rush it, but you don't want to get left behind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of startups stumble.
Really?
They get caught up in the hype.
Mm-hmm.
They rush to market
Mm-hmm.
with a product that's not quite ready.
Okay.
And ultimately, they fail to deliver on their promises.
It's like they're building a house on sand.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Like, it might look good at first,
Hmm.
but it's not going to last.
It won't stand the test of time.
Yeah.
And in the blockchain world, that test of time comes in the form of,
User adoption.
regulatory scrutiny,
Hmm?
competition from other projects.
Right. So you got to be ready for all that.
You have to be ready.
Okay.
And if your foundation isn't solid, the whole thing can come crashing down pretty quickly.
So what's the key to building that solid foundation?
Well, technology is definitely important,
Okay.
but it's only one piece of the puzzle, right?
Okay. So what else is there?
You need a clear vision,
Uh-huh.
a strong team,
Okay.
a deep understanding of the market you're trying to serve.
Right. So it's about more than just the tech itself.
It's about the whole package.
Yeah.
And maybe most importantly,
Yeah.
you need the ability to adapt and iterate as the landscape evolves.
Because it's always changing. Right.
Constantly changing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's like navigating a jungle.
Ooh, I like that.
You need a map, a compass, a machete.
Oh.
But you also need to be able to adjust your course as you encounter unexpected obstacles.
Right. Be flexible.
Exactly.
So you got to be ready for anything.
You got to be ready for anything.
Yeah, that's a good analogy. I like that.
Yeah.
But like, even with all that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Things are still growing like crazy in the blockchain space.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
The source mentions that the global blockchain market is projected to reach $1.2 trillion by 2030.
Whoa.
That's a massive number.
Yeah.
It suggests that there's still a lot of room for growth and innovation.
So there's opportunity there, but
Absolutely.
it's not easy to grab it.
Right.
It's not going to be easy.
It's not just about riding the wave.
No.
It's about building something that actually lasts.
Exactly.
So how do you do that?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
I think a key part of it is focusing on solving real-world problems.
Okay.
Don't just build a solution looking for a problem.
Right.
Identify a genuine need.
And then leverage blockchain technology to address it in a way that creates tangible benefits for users.
So it has to have a purpose.
It has to have a purpose.
Yeah.
It has to make a difference.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
So it's about finding that sweet spot between like
Mhm.
innovation and actual application,
Exactly.
right? But then how do you convince people to actually use it?
Right. That's where education and community building come in.
Okay.
You need to articulate the value of your solution
Uh-huh.
in a way that resonates with your target audience.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier, right? Like
Exactly.
you got to know who you're talking to.
Yeah.
But then community building, what does that look like?
It's about fostering trust,
Oh,
engaging with users,
yeah.
building relationships.
So it's not just about like, here's my product, use it.
No, it's about creating a dialogue,
Okay.
building a shared sense of purpose.
So it's like planting a seed.
Right. Exactly.
Got to nurture it.
You got to nurture it.
Give it the right environment to grow.
Exactly. You need the right conditions for growth.
Okay. Yeah, I like that analogy.
Yeah.
But, even with the best of intentions, sometimes things just don't work out.
Right.
Like, we've seen a lot of blockchain projects fail,
We have.
right? Even ones with, like, big names attached to them.
Yeah. Big companies, lots of funding.
So what can we learn from those failures?
I think they offer valuable lessons for everyone in the space.
Okay.
One common theme we see is this disconnect between ambition and execution.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
It's not enough to have a grand vision.
Okay.
You need to be able to break it down into manageable steps
Mm-hmm.
and execute them effectively.
So it's not just about dreaming big. It's
Mhm.
about actually making it happen.
It's about getting things done.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because there's
Yeah.
so much involved, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Like, it's not just about coding.
Yeah.
There's legal stuff, there's regulations, there's security.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Community management, so many different pieces.
Mhm. So you got to be ready for all that.
You have to be ready.
Okay.
And I think that's why building a strong team is so critical.
Yeah, it's not a one-person show.
No, it's a team effort.
Yeah.
You need people with different skill sets,
Okay.
different expertise.
And you need developers, you need lawyers, you need marketers, you need community managers.
Exactly. You need it all.
So it's a very holistic approach.
It has to be.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
So it's not just about the technology itself, it's about the people, the strategy, the execution.
It's about the whole ecosystem.
The ecosystem, yeah.
Okay.
I like that.
It's a complex system.
It is.
But when it works, it's really amazing.
Yeah, so there's a lot to learn from those failures.
Absolutely. They're valuable learning opportunities.
Yeah, so it's not just about like avoiding the same mistakes.
No.
It's about understanding why those mistakes were made.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what we can do differently.
Okay, that's a good point.
Yeah.
So it's not just about the tech, it's about the human element.
It's about the people.
Yeah.
It's about their decisions.
Right, so it's a very human-driven thing.
It is.
Okay, that's interesting.
And I think that's what makes this space so fascinating.
Really?
Yeah, it's this convergence of technology, innovation, and human ambition.
And it's still early days, right?
Very early days.
So we're still figuring it all out.
We're just scratching the surface.
It's like we're exploring this uncharted territory.
Exactly.
Okay.
We're pioneers.
I'm 10 years, yeah.
Yeah, venturing into the unknown.
And that's exciting.
It's incredibly exciting.
But also kind of scary.
A little bit scary.
Right.
But that's what makes it an adventure.
An adventure. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so with all the challenges and uncertainty, there's still this sense of optimism around blockchain.
There is.
Like, why is that? Why are people so excited about it?
I think it's because people recognize the potential for blockchain to create a better world.
Okay.
More equitable world.
Yeah.
More transparent world. A more efficient world.
Okay.
It's a technology that empowers individuals,
Okay.
fosters collaboration, and removes barriers to entry.
So it's about giving people more control.
Exactly.
Okay.
And those are values that resonate deeply with people.
Yeah, it's like a democratization of power.
Exactly.
Right. Like blockchain gives individuals and communities more power.
Yes.
Okay.
It gives them more control over their data,
Mm-hmm.
their finances,
Yeah.
their destinies.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
It is a big deal.
So it's not just about the tech, it's about what the tech can do for people.
Exactly.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have
Right.
a lot of different factors.
Yeah, and it's been fascinating.
It's a complex space,
It is.
but it's also incredibly exciting.
Yeah, so what's the main takeaway?
I think the key message is that success in blockchain is about more than just the technology.
Okay.
It's about the people, the vision,
Yeah.
the strategy, and the resilience to navigate a constantly changing landscape.
Right, because it's not easy.
It's not easy,
Yeah.
but it's definitely worth it.
Okay, so for everyone listening, keep exploring, keep asking questions, right?
Absolutely.
Keep learning.
Never stop learning.
Because this is just the beginning.
This is just the beginning.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
Thanks for having me.
It's been great.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, I learned a lot.
Me too.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Let's take a break and we'll be back with more on blockchain startups after this.
Sounds good.
So we talked about speed, right? Like things move so fast in the
Yeah.
blockchain space.
Mhm.
But how do you balance that need for speed with the need to like build something really valuable, something that lasts?
It's a tough one, right?
It seems like a tightrope walk, you know?
Yeah, it is. And I think that's where a lot of these startups, they kind of stumble.
Yeah.
They get caught up in the hype. You know, they rush to market with something that's not really ready. And ultimately, you know, they don't deliver on their promises.
So it's like, you know, they're building a house on a foundation of sand.
Exactly.
It might look impressive at first, but it's not going to last. You know, it's not going to withstand the test of time.
Right. And in the blockchain world,
Yeah.
that test comes in the form of user adoption,
Okay.
regulatory scrutiny,
Mm-hmm.
competition from other projects.
Yeah, so you got to be ready for all that.
You have to be ready for all of it.
Okay, so how do you build that solid foundation? Is it all about having like the best technology?
Well, technology is definitely important,
Okay.
but it's only one piece of the puzzle.
Okay, so what else is there?
You need a clear vision.
Uh-huh.
You need a strong team,
Okay.
and you need a deep understanding of the market you're trying to serve.
Okay, so it's about more than just the tech itself.
Yeah, you got to have the whole package.
The whole package, okay.
Okay, maybe most importantly,
Yeah.
you need that ability to adapt
Right.
and iterate as the landscape evolves,
Right, because it's always changing.
constantly changing.
Yeah.
You got to be ready to pivot.
So you got to be flexible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like navigating a jungle.
I like that, the jungle analogy.
Right.
Yeah.
You have your map, You have your compass, you've got your machete,
Okay.
but you got to be ready to change direction if you hit a fallen tree or a river or something.
Yeah, be ready for anything.
Exactly.
That's good.
So be able to adapt is key.
Okay, but like even with all that,
Mm.
the blockchain space is still growing like crazy.
Oh, it's exploding.
Right, like it's huge.
Yeah, I mean, the source actually mentions that the global blockchain market is projected to reach $1.2 trillion
Whoa.
by 2030.
That's a lot of money.
That's a massive number.
Yeah.
So clearly there's still a lot of opportunity there.
Yeah.
A lot of room for growth and innovation.
So there's opportunity, but it's not easy to grab it.
It's not going to be a walk in the park.
Right. It's not just about like riding the wave of hype.
No, you got to create something sustainable.
Sustainable.
Something that has lasting value.
Something that's actually like useful.
Useful.
Yeah. Okay, so how do you do that?
That's the big question.
Yeah.
I think a key part of it is focusing on solving real-world problems.
Okay.
Don't just, like, build a solution looking for a problem to solve.
Okay.
Find a genuine need.
Yeah.
And then figure out how blockchain can address that need.
So it has to have a purpose.
Exactly. It has to have a purpose.
Yeah, just like, oh, this is cool technology.
No, it's got to solve a real problem.
And it has to make a difference.
It has to make a difference.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
So it's about finding that like sweet spot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Between innovation and actual application.
Exactly.
Okay, but then even if you have a great solution,
Yeah.
how do you convince people to actually use it?
Right. That's where education and community building becomes so important.
Right, you talked about education. Like you got to explain it to people.
You got to explain it in a way that makes sense.
Right, and you got to know who you're talking to.
Exactly.
But community building, what does that actually look like?
It's about fostering trust,
Okay.
engaging with users, building relationships.
Okay, so it's more than just like putting your product out there and saying, hey, use this.
It's about creating a dialogue.
A dialogue, okay.
Yeah, you got to build a community around your project.
So it's like, planting a seed.
Exactly.
You got to nurture it.
You got to nurture.
Give it the right environment to grow.
You got to cultivate that community.
Yeah.
Provide the right conditions for it to thrive.
Yeah, I like that analogy.
Yeah.
But even with the best of intentions, right?
Mm,
Sometimes things just don't work out.
that's true.
We've seen it happen.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of high-profile blockchain projects fail.
Yeah, and some of them had like big companies behind them.
Well, a lot of funding.
So what can we learn from those failures?
I think they're valuable learning opportunities for the entire industry.
Okay.
One common theme we see is this disconnect between ambition and execution.
Okay. What do you mean by that?
It's not enough to have a grand vision.
Okay.
You need to be able to break it down into manageable steps
Mm-hmm.
and actually get things done.
So it's not just about dreaming big.
It's about being able to execute,
Yeah, about making it happen.
making it happen.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And there's so much involved, right?
Oh, absolutely.
It's not just about coding.
It's not just about the tech.
Yeah, there's legal stuff, there's regulations.
Security,
Yeah.
community management, all these different pieces.
So you got to be ready for all that.
You got to be ready for the whole package.
The whole package, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why having a strong team is so important.
Absolutely. You need a team of people.
Yeah, it's not a one-person show.
No, not at all.
Okay.
You need people with different skills,
Different expertise.
different backgrounds.
So developers, lawyers, marketers, community managers.
All of the above.
You need it all.
You need the whole village.
The whole village, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a very holistic approach.
It has to be.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So it's not just about the technology, it's about the people, the strategy, the execution,
It's about the whole ecosystem.
the ecosystem, yeah,
Yeah.
and how all those pieces fit together.
Exactly.
Okay, that's a good point.
And those failures, those high-profile failures,
Yeah.
they teach us a lot about that.
Yeah, they highlight those weaknesses.
Yeah. They show us where things can go wrong.
So it's not just about avoiding the same mistakes.
No, it's about understanding why those mistakes happened
Yeah.
and what we can do differently.
Okay, that's a good point.
Yeah, it's all part of the learning process.
So it's not just about the tech, it's about the human element.
It always comes back to the human element.
Yeah, like it's a very human-driven thing.
It is.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes this space so fascinating.
Yeah.
It's this convergence of technology,
Yeah.
innovation, and human ambition.
It's like we're all figuring it out together.
Exactly. We're still in the early days.
Yeah, it's like we're exploring this uncharted territory.
Our pioneers
Pioneers, yeah.
venturing into the unknown.
That's exciting.
It's incredibly exciting.
But also kind of scary, right?
There's definitely an element of risk.
Yeah, like you don't know what's out there.
Exactly.
But that's what makes it an adventure.
That's what makes it fun.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
So, okay, with all the challenges and uncertainty,
Hmm.
there's still so much optimism around blockchain.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Like, why is that? Why are people so excited about it?
I think it's because people recognize the potential.
The potential. Okay.
The potential for blockchain to create a better world.
Okay.
You know, a more equitable world, a
Yeah.
more transparent world, a more efficient world.
Okay, I like that.
And it's a technology that empowers individuals.
Okay.
It fosters collaboration.
Yeah.
It removes barriers to entry.
So it's about giving people more control
Exactly.
over their own stuff.
Over their own lives, their own data,
Right.
their own finances.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
It's huge.
Okay.
So it's not just about the tech, it's about what the tech can do
For people.
for humanity.
Right. So it's a very human-centric thing.
Very much so.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground.
We have.
This has been a fascinating conversation.
It's a fascinating topic.
It is.
So much to unpack.
Yeah.
But I think we're starting to get a better understanding of,
Yeah.
what it takes to succeed in this space.
Okay, so what's the main takeaway?
I think the key message is that success in blockchain is about more than just the technology. It's
Okay.
about the people,
Mm.
the vision,
Yeah.
the strategy,
Mm.
and the resilience to navigate this ever-changing landscape.
Right, because it's not easy.
It's not easy.
It's a challenge.
It's a challenge.
But it's worth it.
But the potential rewards are huge.
Huge.
Yeah, if you can get it right.
Okay, so for everyone listening, keep exploring this.
Absolutely.
Keep asking questions.
Yeah.
Keep learning.
Never stop learning.
Because this is just the beginning.
It's just the beginning of the blockchain journey.
Okay, that's exciting.
It's a wild ride.
A wild ride. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
Thanks for having me.
It's been great having you.
Been a pleasure.
Yeah, I learned a lot.
Me too. Always learning.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back with more on blockchain startups.
Sounds good.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about the blockchain equals crypto thing.
Yeah.
The challenges, the successes.
Mm.
But I keep coming back to this
Yep.
95% failure rate,
Yeah.
for blockchain startups.
It's a daunting statistic.
It is, and it makes me think about,
Yeah.
the people behind those ventures.
You know?
It's a human cost.
Yeah. Like, what's the emotional toll?
Yeah, we often forget about that.
Right. We get so caught up in the technology and the money and all that.
Yeah, the hype.
But there are real people.
Real people with dreams.
Yeah.
Taking big risks.
And it's got to be tough.
It is.
Like, really tough.
Building a business is hard.
Yeah.
Any business.
Yeah.
But especially in a space like blockchain.
Yeah, because it's so new, right?
It's uncharted territory.
Yeah.
And it's moving so fast.
So the stakes are even higher.
Absolutely.
You got to be able to handle a lot.
You got to have thick skin.
Thick skin. Okay.
Yeah, because there are going to be setbacks.
Yeah.
There are going to be disappointments.
And failures. Right.
Yeah, failures are inevitable.
Okay. But people keep trying.
That's the thing. They do.
Yeah.
They keep innovating. They keep pushing forward.
So that says something, right?
It does. It says a lot about the belief in this technology.
The belief, yeah.
The belief that it can change the world. Okay, so it's not just about, getting rich quick.
No, it's about something bigger.
Bigger, yeah.
It's about vision. It's about idealism.
Idealism, okay.
And it's about a willingness to take risks.
So it's a very unique kind of entrepreneur.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, very specific qualities.
They have to be comfortable with uncertainty.
Uncertainty, okay.
They have to be adaptable.
Yeah, we talked about
They
that.
have to be resilient.
Resilient, so bouncing back from those setbacks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're going to get knocked down,
Yeah.
but you got to get back up.
Okay, so what can we learn from those who didn't make it?
I think their stories are just as important as the success stories.
Really?
Yeah, because they teach us valuable lessons
Lessons, okay.
about what not to do.
Yeah, how to avoid those pitfalls.
Exactly.
Okay, so what are some of those lessons?
Well, I think one of the biggest ones is focus.
Focus, okay.
It's easy to get distracted in this space.
Yeah, with all the hype.
So much hype, so many shiny new things.
Yeah, and it's exciting, right? You want to try everything.
You do, but you got to stay focused.
Okay, so pick a direction and stick with it.
Exactly. You can't chase every rabbit.
Yeah, because you won't catch any of it.
You'll end up with nothing.
Right, so focus is key.
Focus is key.
But it's not just about the tech, right?
No, it's about the whole picture.
Like what?
Your target market,
Okay.
your business model,
Mm-hmm.
your community.
The community, yeah.
Yeah, that's a big one.
So it's not enough to just have cool technology.
Yeah, you got to solve a real problem.
Right, and you got to solve it for the right people.
Exactly.
And you got to have a way to, sustain that solution.
It's got to be a viable business.
Yeah, make it last.
Yeah, long-term vision.
Okay, so the community, why is that so important?
Because ultimately, it's the community that will drive adoption.
Adoption, okay.
They'll use your product.
Yeah.
They'll provide feedback.
Mm-hmm.
They'll help you improve it.
Okay, so they're more than just like customers.
Partners.
Partners, yeah.
They're invested in the success of the project.
So it's a very collaborative kind of thing.
Yeah, it's a shared journey.
Okay, I like that.
You're building something together.
Together, yeah.
With your community.
Okay, so that's a big part of it.
It's a crucial piece of the puzzle.
The puzzle, okay.
Yeah, you got to have all the pieces
Yeah, that makes sense.
to make it work.
So, as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
I'm feeling like cautiously optimistic.
Cautiously optimistic. I like that.
Yeah, because, the challenges are real.
They are.
It's tough out there.
It's a tough space.
But there's also this incredible energy,
Oh, yeah.
this
Yeah.
passion.
So much passion.
Yeah,
People really believe in this technology.
they do. And they believe in its potential to,
Yeah.
change the world.
Make things better,
Better, yeah.
more equitable,
Mm.
more transparent.
Okay, so it's about more than just making money.
It's about making a difference.
Making a difference. Okay, I like that.
Yeah, that's what drives a lot of people in this space.
So what's the one thing you want people to take away from this?
I want them to understand that success in blockchain is a multifaceted thing.
Multifaceted. Okay.
It's not just about the technology.
Yeah, we've talked about that.
It's about the people.
Yeah.
It's about the vision.
Mhm.
It's about the strategy.
Yeah.
It's about the resilience.
Yeah.
It's about building something meaningful,
Meaningful. Okay.
something that lasts,
Yeah.
something that makes a positive impact
On the world.
on the world. Yeah,
I like that.
that's what it's all about.
So for everyone listening,
Yeah.
keep exploring this space.
Keep learning.
Keep asking questions.
Yeah.
Keep pushing the boundaries.
Because the future of blockchain is being written right now.
Right now, yeah, and we're all a part of it.
We all have a role to play.
Okay, so that's exciting.
It is.
It's a little bit scary.
A little bit scary.
But mostly exciting.
Mostly exciting.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, this has been a fantastic deep dive. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
It's been a pleasure talking to you.
It's been a pleasure being here.
Yeah, I've learned a lot.
Me too. Always learning.
And for everyone listening,
Yeah.
thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for being a part of this journey.
And keep exploring the world of blockchain.
The future is bright.
All right, that's it for this episode of The Deep Dive.
Until next time.